Today, we're going to dive into something that's at the very core of being human, our need for connection. We're going to look at it through a really raw, really personal document, and then we'll back up all that emotion with some pretty fascinating science. Let's jump right in. Our whole journey today starts with this line. It's from the source material we're looking at, and it's so powerful. It's this incredibly stark way of describing deep, profound loneliness, and really, it sets the stage for everything we're about to explore. So to start, let's try to break this feeling down. What does it actually mean to feel this disconnected? We're going to start with an anatomy of loneliness. The heart of our explainer today comes from this one document. It's basically a list of yearnings, but it acts as this incredible window into what it feels like to be on the outside, looking in, just craving a connection you can't seem to find. And what's so striking here is that this feeling, it isn't just about being physically by yourself. The author talks about being surrounded by people, friends, family, and still feeling completely and utterly isolated, like they're just fundamentally misunderstood. Now, this is where that personal pain meets a pretty startling biological reality. Research shows that chronic loneliness can increase your risk of dying early by 50%. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That's a risk to your life comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So this isn't just a feeling, right? It's a serious health issue. So if that's the problem, what's the antidote? Well, the author's own words point to something actually pretty simple: the power of everyday, shared moments. What's so interesting here is just how simple these desires are. It's not about grand, expensive gestures. It's about cooking a meal together, sharing from the same plate, watching a movie. These tiny, shared experiences, they're the actual building blocks of connection. This quote, wow, it just captures the whole thing perfectly. It's not just about having someone there. It's about finding a partner to help you navigate how huge and overwhelming life can feel, turning that solo journey into a shared adventure. And you know what? There's a totally clear scientific reason why these moments feel so good. When we share experiences, it lights up our brain's reward system. It releases this cocktail of feel-good chemicals, we're talking oxytocin, dopamine, that literally reduce anxiety and forge the bonds we all crave. Okay, so building on that, let's zoom in on one of the most powerful connectors we have: physical touch. It is something that is written deep, deep into our biology. And once again, the source material just gives us this raw, visceral starting point. This isn't some abstract idea. It's a specific sensory craving for the simple, calming feeling of another person's touch. This slide just lays out the science so brilliantly. I mean, take a simple hug. It's an ancient behavior going back millions of years in primates that sets off this whole biological chain reaction. It floods your system with oxytocin, that's the bonding hormone, and at the same time, it lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. It can even synchronize your heart rates, physically calming both people down. It's incredible. And the numbers? They're really remarkable. Get this. Just 10 minutes of affectionate touch can slash your stress-inducing cortisol by almost a third, while boosting your mood-regulating serotonin and dopamine. It's like a powerful chemical reset button for your brain. And here's the most crucial point. This feeling of closeness, it translates directly into survival. Studies have shown that people with strong social bonds have a significantly higher chance of living longer. So connection, it's not a luxury, it's a survival mechanism. Okay, so next, we're going to see how having a partner does way more than just make us feel good. It can literally change the way we see the world and all the challenges it throws at us. The author describes life alone as a relentless uphill battle. This feeling of constant struggle is such a common theme in loneliness. But what happens when you don't have to face that battle alone? Well, the contrast is just stark. That uphill battle becomes a burden that lightens. The world feels less cruel. The hill feels less steep. When you have a partner, the struggle itself actually seems to change. And this is the part that just blows my mind. Science backs this up, literally. There was this fascinating study that found people who were standing next to a friend perceived a hill as being way less steep than people who were standing alone. So social support actually changes our physical perception of reality. Wild. All right, for our final section, let's pull the camera all the way back and put this one person's yearning into the bigger picture of a universal human need. There is this famous idea, often credited to Freud,
that frames love not just as some fleeting emotion, but as a fundamental pillar of a meaningful life, something as essential to who we are as our work.
And this need isn't just a phase you go through. As you can see here, our relationship with connection evolves throughout our entire lives, from that exploratory stage in our teens to a peak of romance in young adulthood, a shift towards stability, and then renewed appreciation later in life. It's a lifelong journey. So ultimately, what starts as one person's cry of loneliness is revealed to be a biological imperative for all of us. The Harvard study of adult development, one of the longest studies on happiness ever done, confirms it. Deep, meaningful connections are the single biggest predictor of our health and happiness. Needing someone isn't a weakness. It's essential to actually feeling alive. And that really brings us to the final thought. This need, it's hardwired into every single one of us. It's a fundamental part of our code. So the real question is, in our own lives, how do we choose to answer that call?